Have you heard the news? The news that Apple, well, at least this is just a rumor, Apple may be removing the Lightning Jack by 2021, according to a top Apple analyst who doesn't work for Apple, mind you, but just kind of gets rumors, I guess, from within the company. And you might be thinking, this is great news. Awesome. They're going to be finally replacing the Lightning Jack with the USB-C, right? No. In fact, they're just going to be removing it outright and not replacing it with anything, making this a completely wireless iPhone for the top model iPhones. Now, if this is true, and it is just a rumor, of course, and is just a prediction, if this is true, and I would not put it past Apple to do this, I swear to God, Apple is smoking crack if they are even considering this at this moment. And we'll get into why. First, let's read the article. I believe this was originally from Mac Rumors, but it's kind of the same information. So here it says, Apple could ditch the Lightning connector on the highest end versions of the iPhone in 2021, so just the high end ones, meaning devices will require wireless charging, according to a report Thursday from Ming-Chi Kuo, analyst at TF Securities. Now, apparently this guy has a good track record, but of course you have to consider that this guy could just be putting out some ridiculous promotion or prediction to get promotion for his company. I've never heard of this company before, and now I'm talking about it, so that could be a motivation enough to make this prediction. But still, the fact that I would not put this past Apple says enough about it, and says the removal of the Lightning cable, along with other differentiating updates, I don't know what that means, just I guess other changes, apparently he says will boost shipments and the average selling price of high-end iPhone models. So I don't know how that could possibly be. How do you remove a feature and then up the price? I don't think a lot of people would buy this. I think that's a joke. And says without it, it would offer a completely wireless experience, and then says speculation has been building the several years. Apple removed the Lightning cable, of course, to replace it in favor of the USB Type-C connector. So here's my thoughts on this. If Apple does this, it would be the biggest, stupidest move. I don't think they could possibly justify it in any way, and I don't think customers would even do it. Here's the thing. Like they mentioned here, Apple just started including the fast charger with the Pro models, which is the 18 watt, and it can charge apparently up to 50% in 30 minutes. That's basically from zero. So they're just introducing this fast charger, and they're going to then in just 2 years, and they probably have to start working on it in like 1 year from now, they're going to be replacing it with an inferior method. So at least when they removed the fingerprint sensor, you could theoretically argue as a personal opinion that Face ID is superior to fingerprint sensor. I don't think that's true. I think they both have strengths, but I think I would probably take the fingerprint sensor over the Face ID if you had to compare them or just take one. And then with the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, at least they were able to include a dongle that switched it back, so you could still use your current stuff. Now, the only downside, well, the big downside is you can't then listen to things using a 3.5 millimeter adapter and charge it at the same time without some weird adapter that gets terrible reviews on Amazon and everyone thinks sucks. But with this, removing the Lightning connector and all connectors, I mean, this just removes so many features that are beyond just charging, being able to charge wired. It's ridiculous. So there's so much to unpack. I don't even know where to start with this. First of all, the charging is going to be slower. So up until recently, and even with the iPhone 11, Apple still only includes the 5-watt USB power adapter. With the Pros, they at least include the 18-watt. A lot of people don't even realize that you can do 18-watt charging, but this is like more than 3 times faster charging. The 5-watt is an absolute joke, the fact that they still include this with any iPhones at all. And wireless charging is 5 watts. And even fast wireless charging is 7.5 watts. That's only 2.5 extra watts of power. That's almost nothing. It's basically the same. So the fastest option, if using current technology, now obviously they might increase the wireless charging speed. I would have to assume that they would do this to increase it, at least to make it even potentially justifiable. They would have to at least get 18-watt wireless charging. I think other phones do that, but that's still, I don't even think they would do that. They probably would just keep it with 7.5 watts. But even still, the ability to charge using a wire it gives you so much flexibility. Obviously, you can use the phone while it's charging. What do you do if your phone is low on battery and you want to charge your phone and keep using it? Then you have to put it on a wireless charger and have it sit there and like use it on a stand? That's ridiculous. Or get this big enormous adapter that still is wired, but it's basically like an extra phone case that snaps on your phone and then you use it like that. I mean, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. It would be like basically putting a tablet on the back of your phone and using it like that. It would be absurd looking, because a lot of people use their phone while charging it. And if you didn't want to do that, if you didn't have this adapter, the way wireless charging works, it's so much slower that you would have to, if your phone isn't charged enough, you would have to let it sit there for 4 hours to fully charge before you can use it again, because that's to wirelessly charge, instead of, even if it was slow charging with a cable, you can keep using it. That removes two features: the ability to use it while you're charging it all, and the fact that you would have to be tethered so much longer to it. I mean, adding on the fact, again, this would also remove the ability to use the Lightning to 3.5 millimeter headphone dongle. So you would have to use wireless charging, you would have to use wireless headphones. This and all your current cables that you might own, all your accessories that use Lightning would be useless. So that was a big reason, I think, probably why they haven't changed from the Lightning to USB, is a lot of people just currently have Lightning chargers and cables and accessories like phone docks and stuff like that use it. They would have to go out and buy all new things. People would probably not like it, but they've already added USB-C to like the iPad Pro. But just removing it completely, I think I made all my points, but it would just be so ridiculous. And I think this might be the feature if they were to do it. Again, I'm very skeptical that they would. If they were to do it, then this might be the one that could like tank sales. I think a lot of people would be like, what? No, like I want to be able to charge my phone while using it. I mean, who in their right mind would think that's a good idea? So I was going to make another point, and I can't quite remember it. Let me pause the video and I'll come back to it when I think of it. Okay, my point was, I just remembered it, is data transfer, obviously. So obviously, if you want to transfer stuff off your phone, you can simply plug it into a computer and with a Lightning connector or USB or whatever phone it uses and transfer. That's probably going to be the fastest way to transfer files. And yes, there is iCloud backup. I would recommend people use iCloud backup as their primary mode of backup, just because you don't have to worry about forgetting to plug into the computer and sync it. But the physical connection and syncing to your computer has one major advantage. One, it's faster if you want to do a full backup, but also you can encrypt the backup when it's plugged into the computer, and then you do a full backup on there with a password. And the advantage there is you can, when it's encrypted, store more stuff when you restore it, including passwords. So I don't know if you've ever done this. If you've ever restored from iCloud, I believe, last I checked, which was, I believe, like last year, unless I did something completely wrong, even if you restore your iPhone from iCloud, yes, it keeps everything except you have to log back into things like email, whatever. Whereas that is not the case if you do a backup on your computer through a physical connection and use encrypted backup that requires a password to restore it. So there's a huge advantage of that when you go to upgrade your iPhone. And I know you can do Wi-Fi backups to iTunes. I'm not 100% sure if you can do backups or just syncs between Wi-Fi. You might be able to, I know you can do syncs with your computer with Wi-Fi. I don't know about backups. I should probably check about that before even talking about this video. But in any case, using a physical connection is going to be faster, more reliable than Wi-Fi in most cases. And I don't think Wi-Fi technology is going to progress so much in 2 years that would change. So there's several topics we unpacked here. I think you got my point. I don't want to keep rambling and repeating myself. But again, I don't want to also spend too much time on something that could potentially be not true. But the fact that this is even a rumor, I mean, it's funny enough to talk about because Apple could be considering this. So let me know what you guys think. I mean, look, I use an iPhone. I just like the way it is very polished phone. I prefer it at the moment. I've used Android phones for years, iPhones for years. I prefer Android or iPhone at the moment, but I also have an Android phone that I use occasionally. And this might be like another thing that might make me switch back to Android. It's kind of like one of those things. And this might be one thing that people at least might not make them switch to Android, but it might make them just not buy this top-end iPhone. And I don't know why they would make this a top-end iPhone feature removal. It's like they're going to make it Pro and remove a Pro feature, which is physical connection. What a joke. So I don't want to talk too much about this. I already said pretty much everything. So let me know what you guys think. Would this be something that you would be like, if you don't use iPhones already, or if you do, would this be the one that makes you switch to Android, stop buying new iPhones, whatever? Let me know.